Hello, everyone. How are we? Are we well? Are we good? Are we feeling fine? Yeah? You can do better than that. Wow, okay. Keep it going for as long as it takes Tyrone to get to the stage. Buddy, you're taking the long way around. Hi, buddy. Welcome. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. How's everyone doing? Loud.
Yeah, we like it loud. We like it loud in here. I'm normally a lot louder than this, but I have been sick in bed for several days. Don't worry, I'm not contagious anymore. I don't think I was in the first place. But I am really, really glad to be here because this was real touch and go for a second. If I have anything stuck in my teeth, you have to delete that. Okay, thank you. Welcome to Process. If you're here for poetry, you're in the right place. If you're here for D&D, that's upstairs. Except for that one time.
Yeah. Yes, so as we always like to do at the start of this, well, as we now like to do at the start of this, make some noise if you've been to Process before.
Welcome back.
And make some noise if this is your first time at Process.
Welcome to the family. To join the Process family, you have to come here one time, and then you're family.
Now you're part of the cult.
Yeah. Oh no. Let's not. With that, I saw something on Instagram that was like, "What isn't a cult but feels like it is?" And I immediately thought of Process. Anyway, I'm Kayla. This is what? Who are you?
I'm Tyrone.
Yeah.
And together.
Thanks for giving him an applause and not me. Thank you. Thank you so much. People come from all over the country to Tyrone Lewis's poetry night that he runs all by himself. Anyway, it's our second birthday. We've been doing this for 2 whole years, which is fucking bonkers. What else? You were supposed to do most of the talking because I've been ill.
I know, but I like it when you talk, but now I can do the talking. So it's our second birthday, and we are just so proud of what we're doing here. And because I think one of the things that I love about us, and I think one of the wonderful bits of feedback was that my 2 favourite compliments I ever get from running this night are, first and foremost, how much of a community we are building here and the energy we got here. I love that energy to that. What I've also loved is people, when they describe me and Kayla, about how much we don't really have much of an ego, but it's not really about us, it's about the whole group of Process.
It's all about
here.
you, Tyrone.
Nevertheless, luckily there's not much ego here. So to kind of go against that, we're featuring tonight because it's going to be all about us today.
Okay. So if you haven't been here before, normally we have, we do almost always have 2 feature poets. And once a year on our birthday, we feature ourselves. So lucky you if this is your first time. What else? Ad keeping? Are you ready for ad keeping?
So now we need to do so before we start the poetry, as everyone knows, poetry just can't exist on its own. Poetry has to exist with lots of hard and stringent rules attached to it. And with that, an open mic night is no exception. So with our open mic night, so we're doing it a tiny bit different today in that we are doing purely names out of a hat for the open mic.
We're trying it, seeing how it goes.
Yeah, no one's able to book an open mic ticket in advance, seeing how that goes. It does mean, obviously, we can't guarantee that everyone's going to get on here, and we're not going to, we want to go home and sleep and stuff, so we can't keep going and going and going, unfortunately, to get everyone on. But we're going to try and get as many of you on as we can do. For the ones that do get on, to kind of help make sure that we can get everyone on here, you'll have a time limit of 5 minutes.
How many minutes? 5. How many minutes is that not? 6. Exactly. It's no more than 5 minutes.
God, we are so panto. Oh, yes, we are.
Well, some of us have a background in theatre. To help you, we're normally the other way round.
I know.
We've never been this way round before. Did you notice that? I didn't until just then. Keep talking.
Nevertheless, though, I know that poets and time is not the most committed of relationships, shall we say. So to help remind you about 5 minutes, when you get to about 4 minutes 45, you will hear the Liberty Bell. That will be your sign that you've got 15 seconds left.
It's your pre-applause for wrapping it up. 15 seconds is shorter than you think it is.
When it gets to 5 minutes, you will feel the rest of the room start to slowly go from, we love this person, we love an open mic night, to, we hate you, get off the stage, go now.
Hate is a very strong word.
Okay, we dislike you with a passion.
This is why you're the bitch and I'm the nice one.
Exactly. 5 minutes is your max time on the mic here. Other rules include the hopefully obvious but still needs to be stated rule of don't be a dick. Obviously, there is more to it than that, but in terms of the specifics of that, things of try to, as best as you can, be aware of your privilege and don't use your privilege to attack those that are on lower privilege than you. Don't kick down, don't do any of that shit. Kicking up, fucking go for it. Fuck the Tories, all that shit. Kicking down, let's try not to do that. A level of, this is an open space, we want to try and be as open to as many people as we can do, and with that, as much as you want you to say whatever you want to say, your words can hurt people, so let's try to avoid hurting people and doing that. Yes. Along with that as well, because there's so many people that could be tackling so many strong and important topics as well, if you feel your poem needs a trigger warning, please do put that up front in your poem. We'll try not to include it in your time, etc. Whilst you may be comfortable with the subject of your poem, not everyone in the room may be in a space to listen to it and be here for it, etc. So please look after yourselves and the other people in this room. Along with that, we've got a table of fidget stuff, etc.
Oh yeah, we've got fidget toys over there.
Yeah, if you need anything
you're welcome to borrow them.
Borrow.
I'm aware that you may not remember to return them. I ask you to try, but if you don't remember, I understand. That's fine.
Yeah, a level of, we want you to obviously try to engage with the poets as much as you can. But obviously, if you need to do anything for your own self, by all means, do that. We want to try and be as accessible as we can do. We know there is no perfect accessibility, but still trying to do as much as we can do. The only other rule that I can think of for now is the no exposed genitalia rule.
Don't show us your genitals or your... I do not consent to see anyone's genitalia or butthole this evening. Not on this stage.
Poets, you are horny, horny buggers. You can do that in your own time. Let us not do it on this stage.
Thank you.
I think that's pretty much all of the... Oh, other thing that I need to mention, as some of you have noticed, so obviously I've been filming and whatnot beforehand, but I've got my camera so that I'm filming the whole night, and as of this last month, / this month, whatever, they're all going straight onto YouTube, so all of this open mics will go on YouTube in nice fucking 4K, etc., and all that beauty.
If you don't want to be on YouTube or your photos on Instagram, tell Tyrone, and he'll cut you out of it. But you have to tell him, otherwise we won't know that.
Yes. Cool. I think that now covers it. So
we didn't discuss who's sacrificing first.
If you're
Is it you?
Yeah.
Yes, all right. You go off stage. Okay. We're so professional. So, has anyone here never been to a poetry night before? Ever? Oh, okay, fine. Next time, bring people that have never been to it. Whatever, it's fine. Oh, you haven't? Great. So, okay, here we go. So, the poetry scene is presided over by the poetry gods, and the poetry gods demand a sacrifice. They demand the same number of sacrifices each night as there are hosts. Somebody has to go first. So, to sacrifice a poem to the poetry gods, they are bloodthirsty beings. If you've seen the end of Cabin in the Woods, you know, yeah. Thank you for getting that reference. Yes, so to sacrifice the first poem to the poetry gods tonight is, I say nice things about him every month. Turn your phones on silent. Oh, put that person's phone on silent. Anyway. Sorry, Ali. Okay. That's fine. No, I respect that. Sorry. But thank you for helping. Appreciate it. I've lost what was I saying? Thank you. Sacrifice, yes. So to sacrifice to the poetry gods first, we have one of. Look, every month I have to introduce him and find some new way of saying how much I love him. I'm autistic, so I run out of spoons frequently. Top secret, I have reserves. Those are literally reserved for outside of my family, outside of my blood or law related family. There are 4 people that get to use those. 4 people in the whole world, and Tyrone is one of them, who gets my reserve spoons, which means that. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, he's just amazing and wonderful, and everyone loves him, including me. Please welcome to the stage one of the best poets and people I know, Tyrone Lewis. Or your tour, you can just start.
So as we are featuring later, and obviously I am featuring later, I was kind of trying to figure out what I want to do as a sacrificial poem to start off. And I felt I was going to go outside of my comfort area to some degree, and I'm going to do a poem that's not mine. I know. Wow. Okay, I'll do more poems that are not mine. Then I see you, I hear you. No. I'd like to think I'm a well-versed poet. Oh, welcome verse, Tyrone. There you go, Andy. That was for you. I'm a well-versed poet, and I like to think I know a fair few poets from around the world. And with that, this is one of the poems that I kind of was taught at a younger age that kind of stuck with me for a while. I feel like when you hear the poem, you kind of get why I was the one that gravitated towards this. This is the poem Television by Todd Alcott. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Is everybody looking at me? Do I have everybody's attention? Do I have everyone looking at me? Do not get the wrong idea. I am not trying to take over your life. What do you need? You need to what? Go to the bathroom? Fine. Get up, go to the bathroom, come back and look at me. You need to just what? You need to what? Go to eat? Okay, fine. Get up, go to the kitchen, come back and look at me. You need to what? Sleep? Okay, fine. Get up, go to bed, go to sleep, come back and look at me. So we have an agreement. You will do what you absolutely have to do, and when you are done, you'll come back and look at me. Don't worry about your schedule, because I am here for you. I am here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I am here for you. I am here for you. You need me. I am here. Fair and foul, thick and thin. I am here for you. I am here for you. People try to tell you that I'm bad. You tell them that I am here for you. People try and tell you that I'm bad. You know what it sounds like to me? Sour grapes. Do you forget? Hey, no, don't forget. Just look over there. Look at me, look at me, look at me. See, I've got stuff you wouldn't believe. I've got danger, sex, action, thrills, comedy, all here, all in the next 18 minutes. You can't believe it. It's unbelievable. You can't believe it because it's unbelievable. It's a miracle. Just keep looking at me. Just keep looking at me. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Thank you. Are we ready to start the open mic? Cal, let's do the panto. What's in my hand? What's in the hat? Names. Drum roll, please. And starting off our open mic tonight, I have been looking at this man for the past 4 hours at work because I am currently working on putting out a new podcast episode featuring him. Please welcome to the stage the other Tottenham fan in the room, Rick Dove!
I was not ready to go first. Okay, so a quick thing. There is a massive serpent in Norse mythology called Jormungandr, which I'm going to reference in this poem. Here be dragons. My stomach was filigreed glass this morning, this waiting, fizzing serpents from the abyss, ever rising in their whispering. And there was a woman on the telly claiming water has memory, and we are on the beach. Canute, the water at his brow. And for the duration of this, for the sake of this poem, we know more about the surface of the moon than the ocean floor. Your lips are trembling with fading words and shivering aftershocks of myth, echo on the tip of a tongue with everything important stripped. For today, we are on the beach, as the unseen falls in the deep, as the sea retreats at speed before approaching tsunami, stuck fast in quickening sands of memory, and we are on the beach. Canute, the water at his neck. Remembering there's no agreed reason for deep sea gigantism, just theory and curiosity and the limits of our technology. Remembering there are no theoretical limits to the size a beast can grow when the heart slows down in the deep ocean. How gigantism seethes where the sunlight cannot reach. How we chase definition with folly into the wine-dark sea, into the rising serpents beneath. And we are on the beach. Canute, the water at his chest. And for the sake of internal logic, this water has memory, for every tear must reach the sea, carrying its reason. And somewhere out there, giant serpents are feeding upon our dreams, Scylla and Charybdis, Kraken and Leviathan, swollen upon our tragedies. Adieu, 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 remember me. Creeping diagnoses that wrap themselves around the world, devouring our tales, growing malignant and fat upon our stories. The distant memories, these insatiable beasts from the abyss. Ouroboros, grown impossibly gigantic, our all-encompassing, underpinning, self-fulfilling prophecy. Canute, the water at his knees. And we are on the beach. And I am stories enough for the both of us, or try to be. And the sacrifice tied to this rock, my stomach was hissing with snakes this morning, and there was a woman on the telly claiming water has memory this morning, so on the visit I eat and I feed, and I try to remember enough for the both of us, devouring tales to sustain us, bending myself around a Mobius, telling your story so it echoes on my tongue. And for the sake of this poem, we are on the beach together, telling tales, tall and sweet, of whispers over the horizon of the shifting unseen far from home, where we know a mind, your mind, will eat itself over and over until it knows more about the surface of the moon than it does about the days of a week or the water at its feet, as Jormungandr eats, and we are on the beach. Canute, the water at his toes. Okay. I'm going to do something really short and hopefully a little bit lighter. In the breathless lacuna, we are always moving, even in our stillness, and space is littered with frozen bodies, the vacant husks of long-lost time travelers who neglect this, who forget the expansion of the universe, mirrored in the expansion of a heart, of a mind, constant and accelerating dilations, progressing exponentially, expressing non-linear change, conditional on decay. Nothing outside a substance can cause it to exist, and everything must have a cause, so a substance must cause itself to exist. Ours is perpetually possibilities exploding into being, and time is breathless stillness even as it flies, and you ask me what I am thinking, and instantly my head empties of all meaningful discourse, usurped by arriving husks, the frozen bodies of my infinite future selves, trying to revisit this version of us.
I guess this will be the short person mic. Just for me. Rick Dove is one of the best poets I know, and I feel really lucky that we became friends like just before he got like really quite famous, because it means that I get to have a quote from him on the front cover of my first book and the back cover of my second book. Anyway, what's in my hand? What's in the hat? You got it. Drum roll, please. please welcome back for the first time in a long time, Lucy. Keep the applause going for Lucy. All the way at the back. You have to keep applauding until they get to the stage.
I'm sure. Thank you. First time actually. Hello. I'm Lucy Druidica. Trigger warning for self-surgery. So if no one wants to hear that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Pass me the orc's cord to the earth. A city heretic runs to the woods. Dirt under tip, gently she touches. Root, twigs, bird's eggs, spider's nest, moss and stem. But still they crack with bitter desire in a fist. Skin, the limit of connection. Slick with mortal horror and wood stew. Envy vibrates through vein. Let me in. Lust throbs at the tips, pounding like spring rage, thawed water violent against a dam. Kneel in white to the priesthood of bark cloaks. Tell me your secrets. Take the sharpest stone and hack the skin. Slice off the fingerprints and plunge red deep to the network. The dark magic screen of reality shatters. They are everything. They are all at once in micro-time, roaring through ripped identity, to the cord, to the brain. The atoms burst, blowing bubbles in a child's thought. The spinal fluid scurries like frantic mice sprinting to the earth, rippling the roots of infinite society. The trillion cells in biosynthesis answer. It's words, they speak, they speak, they speak. It's words, the human learns to understand. They speak. Sun and dirt walker, mortal, primitive, conqueror, takes and takes and takes. Human, submit. The animal instinct thrashes against human desire. She wills her body to stay, yet the body resists, bucks, claws skyward to the beating sun, lighting its carbon creation with hot indifference. My seelie burrow their white fingers through the veins of rust, bone calcified to birch, marrow funneled to root, bluebells and snowdrops seed inside, taking the estrogen, newborn, volvatic, the sweet sense of raw petal and iron folding out, the temple of muscle and skin made living earth, ivy and elmwood hair, moss suckled breasts, strong thighs blooming, lungs breathing spores, and at the core a petrified hazelwood heart. Hunger replaced with synthesis. The stadium of neurotransmitters choir their last human thoughts, sprayed as mist from parted lips. I am. The freed electricity escapes, stirs the earth in excitement, shakes, the laid to rest bones contract and revolt as the sparks are hurried through the chain to something deep, something asleep, ancient miles below, it wakes. The human, repurposed, root-anchored, unmoving, she stays a landmark. Hold an iPhone torch to her face. Does she smile or grimace? Hands upright and bent in supplication to a U-trunk, tie a ribbon to her hard hair and make a wish. When the wind racks the branches, blows the grasses, I hear her scream. No, it's a laugh. It's a cry. Yes, I hear her, Our Lady of the Woods. She gives thanks. No, she begs for mercy from our Lord, they say, and the spirit nods. The humans are known for their folly, for trying to be gods, but it was worth it to be you, to hear you, to be us. Thank you.
Thank you so much there, Lucy! We are on a nice little roll now, so speaking of rolls, can I get a drum roll, please, everyone? See, segues, flawless, seamless. This is the professionalism you come to protest for, obviously. Okay, I'm gonna pause, do a little bit of self-promo as I then go into doing the, I'm the ego here, and this is about, I am starting a new documentary at the moment. If anyone knows about some of the stuff I've done in the past, processes existed beyond the open mic. We've been documenting the poetry scene for the better part of 8 years. And about 8 years ago, I made my own little one-man band documentary about the open mic scene. So doing that again. To do that, though, I really need someone who's got, like, I don't know, maybe a resource to tell me a lot of the open mic nights in London to help me out with that. And thankfully, there's someone in this room who's got a resource that does similar to that, and they've also the name I pulled out of the hat. So, like, how does that work? That's amazing. So can you please welcome to the stage the one and only Fiona?
You really are really tall. Thank you very much, guys. Tonight, this is something a little bit different. You may not know me, but my name is actually Sumner Brook, and this is a poem that requires some audience participation, right? So, when I put my hand in the air, I want you all to say, shout, fun, 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 okay? So, we're going to give this a go. Fun, fun, fun! Perfect, right, this is called Cocoa Pops. Cocoa Pops and milk make a bowl full of fundamentals of what you crave. Pour a bowl of Saturday badly dubbed anime, Michael Bay's matinee Looney Tuned cabaret. Pave empty spaces in your brain with painfully sweet glaze. Milk pours down neural pathways, soaks and bloats the flotsam of a day-to-day of grey malaise. Break a decade of breakfasts. Shun worthy earthy flakes and grains that stave off hunger pains for a mascot graced parade of famous names. But grazing your gums and risking tooth decay, sucrose, shrapnel lacerating your soft palate, can't make today's of yesterday. No simple bowl of corn-based shapes can help you pull off an escape from this and now when your mistakes. It isn't just the taste that's changed. For all you claim, you're not the same. And now, Cocoa Pops and milk make a bowl full of Cocoa Pops and milk make a bowl full of Cocoa Pops and milk make a bowl full of fun, fun, fun. Anyway, right, that was like a little experiment, and this next poem is actually a cover. Thank you very much. I've got to be quick. This next poem is a cover of a Fiona Broadhurst poem, and it is a world exclusive, and it's called Excitement Is, and it goes out to anyone who's ever had a fucking boss. I am a 2-day paradise, hard-won freedom accepted as if the earth rotates on a 7-segment axis, an immutable fact of life like getting wet in the rain. I am a bike down a hill, no brakes, out of control, careering towards the drudgery of future. I am at least 24 hours of rest, the best days of your life, the constant dream that drives, and you will be happy about it. I am a directive forced upon those who believe that they got where they are by hard work alone. Those who believe that exploitation is something other people do. I am less than 48 hours per week, the bleak grind of selling flesh in exchange for monopoly money, to barter for a mouldy room in a house the landlord can't afford to buy, and you will be happy about it. There are studies studying the long-term effects of leisure activities, but none about the negative effects of 5 days a week, 337 days a year. And it is telling that those who bought into the pyramid scheme are willing to eat their overheads just for a fleeting taste of control. It is telling that those who saw the emperor's new clothes then forgot will tell you that it is essential to be boxed into an open plan office with rubberized walls to help you bounce ideas off each other. It is telling that you might be offered time off in lieu instead of them paying you, or better yet, not making you work overtime in the first place. I have studied the ways in which health is sidelined for wealth every single time, and I do not care how much body you can hire for a cheaper dime, because in the end, we are just assets traded on the stock market by those getting fat on the spoils of someone else's perseverance, and they have gorged themselves to bursting. Soon, the riverbanks will burst, and we will realize that they are not the ones we should be beholden to. But first, let us remember our history. The freedom you enjoy was hard won and hard fought for, because the power complex that we call capitalism doesn't care about you, or your safety, or your health. Thank you very, very much, guys. Thank you for indulging me in that little experiment. So, yeah, as Tyrone said, if you follow Where the Word Things Live on Instagram and also find us online, we have a website, you will find out about so many poetry nights that are going on. There are 36 or 38 this month alone. It's like more than one a day. There's a lot of them. Go to them. Thank you very much.
I love audience participation. It always makes me really happy. Also, yelling fun, fun, fun. That is just feels fun, fun, fun. Do you know what I mean? It's. I was trying to make a pun, pun, pun. I'm only funny here, and I love it. Drum roll, please. So you're here all the time, or you're funny all the time? What did you say? This wonderful poet has featured for us before, is a regular member of the Process family, and every time I see a condor, I think of them. Please welcome to the stage, Robin.
This is new. Do you want to know what type of poem it is? I'm just going to do it, and you can work out what sort of poem it is if you're into that kind of thing. It's called Love the Stranger. As seas eat dark, dry land we love, the stranger earth will bind us close, till symbiotically we love the stranger. The flint of rain is lacking there, and overly invective here. The only well in us is love. The stranger stays another night, and slowly falls in grinder glow. We grow less strange, and yet are love the stranger. Our foreignness is fathomed, I find no room in holy writ. When I love the stranger things, they always nip my nails out dry. Once I was strange, and soon again. Till then I love the stranger. I hope the pandemonium finds barns it can yet feast upon, and you are there too, love the stranger. Correct, yes. This poem, I think, needs a minor content warning for implied grief, but anyway, you'll possibly work out what that's about too. It's called The Casimir Effect. The Casimir Effect is the quantum hug between pairs of nearby objects, not because of what they are, but the imprint they leave on space. Also known as the Casimir force, or CAS for short. It is the measurement showing there is never nothing left. It is the void reminding you are always held. It is hard to write about the Casimir effect because its emptiness is so full of infinities. But physicists have this trick where you give infinity a very small name, and temporarily you can forget it is infinite. Talk around it mathematically, make derivative statements as if everything made sense. This is called renormalization, because it is only maths that has broken. The universe is whole, and she is humming with everything that could possibly be. Thank you.
So, I've been going to a lot of wrestling things of late, and what's been amusing is I have been recognized in the audiences there because apparently it's my gimmick of wearing these pink gloves. And I'm kind of loving that because I've basically been I've always liked wearing fingerless gloves beforehand anyway. But when Mum passed, it was a level of, well, these used to be her gloves, and it's that thing of, I'm not quite at the stage of wearing all of her old clothes. That's just, I feel like I have been annoyingly that boringly straight that ship has sailed kind of thing. but I can extend to doing her gloves, and I think it's a nice touch for me, and I've been enjoying doing that, and I enjoy that poem a lot. And also thank you one more time again, Robin! Let's do some drumming and rolling, please. Whatever order you want to do that in, as I will now figure out our next open marker. Oh, too many names, a lot of names. Cool. Okay, I think I can read. Cool. Oh, God. Good.
Do you need help?
No, it's... wait, actually, no, Kayla, double checking. Are there more people in the room? There's no one with an S at the end.
Oh, I spelled that wrong, sorry.
Okay, cool. I'm not losing it. Good, cool. We're professional. Whilst they are not an official collective, I think there's a group of poets in the world that I am dubbing the fashion poets. This next poet is definitely one of them, and the amount of events I've seen where they come and they're serving all of the cuntylicious looks is incredible. Can we please welcome to the stage, Louis!
I mean, I have to say thank you very much for that. It's lovely. I've got stars on my face this time, so you got that coming for you. The first one I'm going to do tonight is not my poem, but I wanted to do a poem to bring attention to conflicts in Palestine right now. I think it's very important that we're sort of putting a spotlight on these things, and I've heard great things, especially down in Goldsmiths. There's a live-in currently happening, Goldsmiths campus. Urge you guys to support them. But I'm going to do a poem on Palestine right now, and I'm going to give you a bit of context just before I say it. So this is going to be triggering for many reasons, in many cases. There was a girl who was a 5-year-old Palestinian girl who was killed recently in Gaza called Hind Rajab. And it's a tragedy, simply put, that she had to die. That she's killed by Israeli Defense Forces. And I'm going to do a poem called O Rascal Children of Gaza by Khaled Juma. And yeah. O rascal children of Gaza, you who constantly disturbed me with your screams under my window, you who filled every morning with Russian chaos, you who broke my vase and stole the lonely flower on my balcony. Come back and scream as you want and break all the vases. Steal all the flowers. Come back. Just come back. All right, I'm now going to do one of my own, stuff like that, which is, why does this happen twice? It just suddenly just disappears from my phone. I love when that happens. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's just sort of like, oh, don't look. It's too much. Okay, we're going to do this one. All right. Oh my God. You know what? Screw it. It's going to happen again. I'm going to have to pull out from my bloody thing. My phone is just not working with me these days. It's such a situation. Okay. All right. Okay. This one's about dates at an art gallery. And yeah, I think it's fun. So we're going to go through that. As objects transmuted to thought, and as the ridges in each brushstroke rise and fade, as watercolors seep in between our eyelids, we find little marks in the works for us, specks of rose and smoky blue detailing the boundary of the shore. Cut sharp, angled against the sky, featureless and easy, yet abundant and crammed within our attention. Within me, you see yourself. Can you see your requirement for detail in the chaos of form. Would you care to see me without meaning? Can you look into the direction of my tears and find truth in them? Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Like that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tyrone and Kayla, for putting on such an amazing night. I also have a poetry account. I'm going to do a plug, and you're going to like it. And it's called Louis Does Poetry, Louis Does Poetry. You can look me up when you have internet upstairs. So, thank you very much.
Yes, Louis is how you spell their name. I'm so sorry. But I think it was worth it to hear Tyrone use the word cuntylicious, unironically. Also, I know that there are some of you that maybe haven't been to our night before that raised a gentle eyebrow when Tyrone came out as straight. I so enjoy the moments of seeing people realise, I've gotten to witness so many of them over the years, the moment when people realise that Tyrone is just an ally and that's how low the bar is for allies, that we all assumed he was queer. Anyway, what's in my hand? Yeah, drum roll, yeah, okay. Please welcome back from the Process family, Poet the Jules. I forget how tall you are.
Oh, I could have taken. Thank you. Meet the small one. Hello, everybody. Right. So I had a very interesting conversation with my housemate because increasingly everything I own and eat seems to turn yellow. No context there. So I was just eating yellow soup and a yellow turmeric bread for some reason. And I asked him is there something like banana soup? And he said, yes, there's smoothies. So that was my day. Anyways, this is a restaurant-shaped conversation at the edge of reason. This is the question to an answer no one was looking for. The answer to a question no one dares to ask. Everything is either a salad, a soup, or a sandwich. Cheesy chips are a salad. A pizza is a sandwich. A bowl of pasta is a salad. A single M&M is a sandwich, but a bowl of M&Ms is a salad. In the same way, a bowl full of sandwiches would be a salad. A lasagna is a multitude of things. If you're good at lasagna, that is, it is a sandwich. If you're not, it can be either salad or soup. In the beginning, any entity is a salad. Until you start combining things, you might get another salad or soup or sandwich, depending on your intention and execution, that is, until you digest it. Then it's undeniably soup. However, leaving your body, it becomes a sandwich on most days. Again, you flush it, it becomes soup. This is the circle of life. If you look at a single tomato, that is a sandwich, same as onions, because onions have layers. But if you zoom in closely, they become soup again. Trees are sandwiches in most their forms. Unless shredded or burned, human bodies are sandwiches. Until they die, then they become salad, then eventually soup. Whatever you look at will at every stadium of being be in any one of these stages, occasionally, more than once simultaneously, and that is the secret of life you ponder, staring out your window at 3 a.m., observing a giant bowl full of cosmic soup. Feeling cold is a sandwich, but feeling hot is soup. My friend says feelings are more like a salad, but to me, they seem like a sandwich most days. Yet, well, on other days they seem more like soup. Again, depending on circumstance, autism is a sandwich, but ADHD is a salad. Depression is soup, and trauma tends to be all of the above, just like grief. Tuesdays are soup, but Saturdays are salad. A house is a sandwich, mostly. Rubik's Cube can be either a salad or a sandwich. My gas bill is soup. School started as a sandwich, then became salad. Work is soup. Always the same soup. A glass of water is a sandwich, but an ocean is soup. A tear is also soup, depending on the exact moment you bear witness to the present condition. In this version of our concurrent distinguished simulations, anything will be either soup or salad or sandwich. Death is mystery soup. Earth is a sandwich, although sometimes it feels like a salad. The universe is soup. Consciousness is invisible soup, almost within your grasp, but escapes any recipe. It seems everything comes from soup and goes back to soup, otherwise known as chaos or rising entropy, or the short as well as incredibly long moment right before the Big Bang, or the small bang, depending on how many bangs you have witnessed. The fabric of existence is a salad soup sandwich, the one ingredient that splits into endless combinations. The taste, it seems almost on the tip of my tongue, yet it leaves my stomach empty. Thank you.
This is clearly the perfect time to remind you that if you want to buy food from All Zero, you can do so up until 9 o'clock. Please do that. That helps us keep the night running. But also, one more time for Poet the Ghouls! Okay, now we have one more open mic, then feature, then interval, just so we all know what's going on here. So can I please get a drum roll to see which open mic is finishing this section? Okay. So I'm filming this. It's going on YouTube. I've got a live feed from the speakers coming out. So please use the fucking mic. Okay, welcome to the stage, Andy.
I won't do the set I had planned. A glass of water is a sandwich only if you eat the glass. If the glass is unwashed, then it is a salad. I've got 2 poems for you. They are both new. The first is a love poem, the next is not. The bill just tells the customer what they've paid for. I just tell you that I know where I'm going. He sings along to Cost the Peace by the Terrys. I do not tell you that I wish I could have stayed. None of us in the bar know the song very well at all. You held my hands a moment as I pulled away. She says her wingspan is far below average. I wonder if you'd have asked me inside. Her family has a few Picassos kept at home. You have a Montserrat you play Plantasia to. He signs a waste list and laughs at my joke about Shiraz. I know you like dad jokes, and I want to tell them to you over and over. The pint is running low, and I have drawn it as long as I can. I cannot help myself as I relate moments to you. This is slower than all I've had before, and still it is here. I know I am like a conversation. I turn in 2 minds. This double speed is caught in a pause, and I thank you for it. He chose to make one movie, and he thought a lot about it. He set it in a bar because everyone is welcome there. He forgot the people who'd gone sober. This was by neglect. Gave the main character his own mustache. This was by intent. No one gave him feedback on the script. He will not be silenced. But the voices he's chosen is to show that this is a bar, and everyone he pitches this to thinks they understand him. But he's thought about it so much and added so much depth that really, he says, after the glasses of Popul, you do need to have a commentary. His drone goes on, running over the top of every scene because there's a specificity down to the placement of what kind of glass on what kind of wood. And to have no coasters was a choice, and to have no women was a choice, and to have no black people was a choice. It had to be a believable bar that this was his one movie after all. He should definitely have his voice infinite and omniscient. What does non-binary even mean anyway? Who has defined minorities? And the term global majority confuses him. And still, the second glass of wine disappears and is replaced by followers who are friends and bulk him up. The singing in his ears is male and loud and proud. There's a lot of pride in the film. Why shouldn't it play in June? Yes, a character says faggot derogatorily, but it's a choice. Let him keep talking. Let him explain. Let him finish his point. He promises he's going somewhere with this. He's a good guy. I think we all know where we'd like him to go.
I do actually have a lot of love for Andy, despite that little outburst at the start. No. One more time for Andy, everyone! We are now going to bring you your first feature for the night, and in the same way that they have had to introduce me for essentially 2 years, or to try and introduce them for 2 years, and trying to find things to say to them, about them is both one of the nicest things I get to do, but also one of the hardest things I get to do, because it is that thing of I have given all of the gushing and all of that stuff, but you're not, sorry to be repeating myself, but they are consistently incredible and consistently amazing. They are just, obviously we've got the whole talk about the spoons, etc., but when they have the spoons, they give them so generously and they use them so well. They are such a wonderful person to be. I am very aware that, as I've kind of been discussed, I'm a little bit bitchy at times, and it's so lovely to have them to kind of balance me out. They are the heart of process. As much as I have been running this for 8 years, etc., I'm not the nice one. They are, and they are the reason the communities are happening here. I love that it's happened, and pretty much all of that is because of them. They are just so loving and so caring. If you have the time, if they have the capacity, being friends of them is truly a privilege. One of the few things I actually feel very privileged about in this world, and I think we're all going to be very privileged because we're going to hear them do some poetry now. So can we please give a massive process welcome to the one and only Kayla!
My instinct when he was talking was just to go, gay. I am queer, I'm allowed to say that. So I advertised this show as part of the Same Story book tour because if you didn't know, my second book, Same Story, came out in November and I've been touring it. I've been touring it around the country, and that's been great. The other day, I saw Monty, who designed the cover, and she pointed out something I did not notice, that she did on purpose, was the shape of the mountains are supposed to be a woman lying down. That's her titty. I had no idea. Anyway, I know this was supposed to be part of the same storybook tour, but I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to. Bear with. 2 years before I wrote Same Story, I wrote this book, and I self-published it. That one has an actual publisher, and it sold way more copies. Funny how that happens. I wrote this book, and the reason that I want to do poems from this book, old shit, is because, and this is a content warning, you can leave at any time during my set, it might get a bit sad, is that Ellie, who runs Everything Poetry Night, is a real regular here, a massive part of our family. I met her best friend, Chloe, and they have matching tattoos, and they're very cute, and I saw their matching tattoos, and I was like, oh, you guys have been friends for a long time then? And Ellie said, yeah, we grew up together. And the first thing that came to my head was I have a friend like that, but she's dead. Yeah, it's sad, but you also have to laugh because you have to, otherwise I'd never go anywhere or get anything done. So I want to do all my poems for her because I really fucking miss her. Her name was Karen, and she was bloody brilliant. She had really great hair. She couldn't lie. She was incapable of lying, and it was really funny when she tried, because she'd try and make her face just go completely blank, which is not a normal facial expression to have. So every time she did that, we knew she was lying, and it was very funny. Yeah, her birthday is on the 12th of February, and I've been thinking about her a lot. And she should have turned 30 this month, and she didn't. She didn't turn 25 either, and she's been gone for over 5 years, and it fucking sucks. But I just want to talk about her all the time, because I feel like I haven't been talking about her as much lately, and I don't know why. So I'm going to do all my poems for her. I hope that's okay, and I hope it reminds you of your best friends. They get happier as they go along, I promise. This is called A Little Life. Some of you may have heard it before. I do this one a lot. I tell stories for a living. She saves lives for a living. And I can say that storytelling is life-saving, but she spent 4 hours resuscitating a hamster with a hairdryer once, felt her physically come back to life, and man, that's a rush I can't begin to imagine. A little life coming back. When our dog was dying, she could smell it. She knew before I did. I clung to him as long as I could, desperate to keep him with me, keep him running, walking, until the day I carried him to her surgery and she held him as he went. But when our friend died, neither of us could explain it. All her knowledge and expertise, every minute of her studies and practice, suddenly useless, and we held each other and howled through that incalculable loss. When our friend died, our dog was in his last days. He wandered the house searching for the source of the trauma. He limped from room to room on arthritic legs, never settling, searching every corner for the unseen villain, his low whine the only constant as we went from howls to silence. On Christmas Eve, he gave up his search and shat all over the living room carpet. True story. It wasn't his fault, he was dying anyway. We made our home a haven for everyone longing for our friend. Made a space for telling stories of her. Our dog had a little life of running and walking and treats and more snuggles than he could handle. His little life was full of love, but not much else. Our friend, though, she swallowed the world. That's what her dad says. She swallowed the world. We buried her beside her grandmother 3,000 miles away. I heard stories at her funeral that I'd never heard before, and I told them some of mine. About the time in Sicily when she swam out to some rocks with me because she knew I was a weak swimmer, but she didn't want me to feel left out. About the time she ran out in a thunderstorm 20 minutes out of her way to bring us chocolate because we were sad. About the book she left me, the inscription, I am forever with you. Our dog died the day after Boxing Day. His kidneys had stopped working. When your kidneys stop working, there is nothing filtering the toxins from your body, so they build up and make your breath smell like ammonia. The stench is unbearable. Our house smelled of death long after he stopped breathing. I survived his death because she saves lives for a living. She knew how to warn me, how to explain. He died in the arms of someone who loved him. Our friend died 11 days earlier. A bus hit a car and a tiny, insignificant little aneurysm flooded her brain with blood before she knew what hit her. No warning, no one to explain. But we survive her. We survive with stories of her and how, in the little life she was given, she swallowed the world. I'm missing one. Oh no, hang on, give me a second. I'll leave that one out. Okay, this is called There Are Trees, and it's about the day of her funeral. The day we buried you, despite the forecast for rain, we insisted it be sunny, and so it was. We wore purple, brought boots in case of mud, but there was none. Above your headstone, there is a tree whose branches reach just far enough to shelter you, and only you, your own personal tree. The tips of its lower leaves stretch to the edges of either side, where your parents will rest someday. It opens itself to them as you would have done, as you will do when they are ready. At the service, instead of returning you to God as a spirit or an angel or something else you didn't believe in, we returned you to the earth. The man explains the first law of thermodynamics, the transfer of energy from your body into the soil, how over time your energy will spill into the roots of the tree, and your sister and I laughed because she has a PhD in physics and it wasn't all we needed to hear, but it was something. She will be a tree someday, she said. There are trees where you are buried, and in the sun on that day the colours were brighter, and I imagined you there perched amongst the branches. Once we had finished filling the earth over you, we laid flowers there. I laid mine in the middle, where your belly would be, where I would rest my head as we read together, the softest part of you. She will be a tree someday. There are trees where you are buried, and I failed physics, so I don't know how long it will take, but one day, someday, you will be among them. So last month, Karen's sister, who is now my sister because she needed some, so she's my sister now, she had a baby. And maybe that's why I've been thinking of Karen so much, because she has a nephew and she doesn't know. This poem inspired his name, and I didn't know that until he was born, obviously because I didn't know his name until he was born. Karen means ray, as in ray of light, and Karen's nephew's name is Ori, or Ori, which means my light. And this is a poem about a daughter I'll never have, because I can never give my daughter this name now because of this poem, but Karen's nephew is now called Ori. This is called Ora, or Ora. If I should have a daughter, I will name her Ora, light, and she will be. My mother says she feels you with her as she watches the sunset from the Mirpesset, hills on one side, ocean on the other. When we went on holiday to Brighton, I sat on the beach and wrote a postcard to your sister. P.S. The sun is shining and I imagine she is here. At your funeral, I said your parents named you appropriately, that you were the ray of light in every room. We added light because ray was not enough. So if I should have a daughter, I will make her in your image. She will have blue eyes and curly hair, untamable, and I will tell her how I tamed it for you on your 22nd birthday in 4 hours with a very powerful hairdryer. I will find her a Spanish tutor, the one language you didn't get the time to grasp. She was fluent in 3 languages and proficient in 3 more. It was fucking insane. Anyway, I will find her a Spanish tutor, the one language you didn't get the time to grasp. I will teach her to cook with the recipes you showed me. Her vegan birthday cake will taste every bit as soapy as yours. Her lullabies will be the 200 songs you left behind and the ones we wrote together. She will read. Oh, will she read? She will read the books we shared and the ones you recommended that I never bothered with until after you were gone, and I couldn't tell you how much I enjoyed them. She will read the one you left me once I have mustered the strength to. If I should have a daughter, I will take her on the Karen Brody restaurant tour of Bordeaux, follow the business cards you kept of everyone you visited when you lived there. I will take her to Korea because you always wanted to go and never did. We will eat bibimbap, the dish you cooked me that last day, and listen to Fake Love by BTS, the song you played that last day. And we will collect business cards and ice cream spoons everywhere we go. If I should have a daughter, she will never learn to subdue her laugh. She will laugh how you laughed, loud, shrieking, squealing. Her laugh will not be stifled. If I should have a daughter, I will tell her everything I know. She will have extra sets of grandparents and an extended family of dozens, and she will learn that family is not blood, that family is a steel cable, 1,000 threads, hundreds of miles, photographs, and stories. If I should have a daughter, she too will swallow the world. Okay, I hope I have time for this one. The full story is in this book, but long story short, I moved to Canada for a year. No, fuck it, I'm reading this, okay. In September 2012, I went off to study at the University of Leeds. Most of my friends had already started university, were about to start, or were younger and still finishing their A-levels. The one friend left behind was Karen, who, having relied on her considerable natural intelligence to coast through school, had barely studied for her exams and ultimately didn't get the grades she needed for university. Never wanted to wallow or be discouraged by failure, she simply found another way. She wanted to study French, so she moved to France for 2 years and worked. She retook her exams, got straight A's and accepted a place at University of Warwick to study French. She and I wrote letters to one another throughout my first 2 years of university. In July 2014, as I was preparing to move to Montreal to study on exchange, and Karen was about to finally begin her studies in Warwick, she sent me off with a pack of 12 letters, one for every month I would be away. This was the first letter. I'm going to get some water. So she wrote this. Dear Arnold. This is an inside joke. We were 12, and you probably had to be there. Dear Arnold. However we phrase it, 12 months is a long time. But in a way, I'm glad we've been living in different places for the past 2 years. It means that I know for certain that however long we're apart, when we're together again, nothing will have changed, at least between us. It's because we've spent this time apart that your going isn't killing me nearly as much as when you were getting ready to go to Leeds for the first time. I can't describe to you the pain of accepting the fact that you were gone from me. Because even though we were still in contact and you weren't very far, and however much we thought otherwise, you were moving on with your life and mine was in stasis. Geographic distance has nothing on the distance that was between us then. For me, at least, we were occupying different dimensions. However much we spoke or were near to each other, we could not occupy the same space. The letters you sent me were lifesavers. In that time, which was the closest to nothingness I had ever been, your letters showed me light in the future but didn't blind me with it. They showed me the joy you had, I could have too, all the while acknowledging I couldn't partake in it right then. They gave me hope when I could so easily have lost sight of any feeling. In that time, your letters were the only things that made me blame myself a little less, made me hate myself a little less. So yes, you saved my life. It sounds like I'm bragging. She's just a really fucking good writer. And after being pulled back from that abyss, anything was possible. So we didn't hang out on a daily basis. So what? So we were separated by land and sea, thousands of miles. So what? So we were living different lives. So what? You don't need 1,000 threads when you have one steel cable. Even when it's coming up to 10 years that we've known each other, I'm still not sure what that steel cable is. But it's not really important. What's important is that I have you and you have me, and if you need anything, anywhere, anytime, if you're in Canada or in the Antarctic or 50 years in the future, I'm right here. Whether here is France or Mars or up in the sky. She actually wrote that, fuck her. Now this time, when you're packing to go to Canada, you're not leaving. Not me, at least. You're a little bit further than usual. But I'm not worried. You're going to have an absolutely amazing time, and you're going to put pictures on Facebook. That ages us. And when I look at them, I'll be right there with you, looking in awe at the scenery, drinking Canadian beer, telling you to get a move on with that hot Canadian you're making out with, and laughing at your poor French grammar. I can't wait for you to tell me all about it, although I'm going to pretend to be all disinterested to cover up the fact that I'm crazy jealous. But you'll see right through it, as you always do. I love you so much, and although I know you're coming back, I'll still miss you like the Karen in year 7, like crazy. Oh, my love. Thank you. Don't applaud that because I'll cry. Anyway, so someone last time, this was a limited print run and I wasn't going to have any more, and then someone asked last time, can I buy your first book? And I was like, not really, there aren't any copies left. And then I found 4. And that person's already bought 1. So there are 3, if you want it. They're over there. Also, there are copies of Same Story available. I can't believe I got that in 15 minutes. Thank you so much. Hi, friend.
Hello, friend.
How you doing?
I need to do the regular hosting thing now, so whenever we have a feature, we always have to do this. So, can I please get one more time for Kayla? Seeing as there's already a queue at the merch desk, let's go do this very quick level of. We're going to go into an interval now. We'll be back at 9:05 for the second half. But go get your drinks. Go get the last bits of food. I believe the bar closes at 9 o'clock.
The food closes at...
Yeah, food closes at 9 o'clock. So if you need to get food, do that. It's good to eat. Otherwise, we'll be back at 9:05. See you then.
Thank you. Hey, welcome back, guys. Did you have a nice break? Did you have a nice interval? Intermission, as my parents would say? Did you go for a wee, have a cigarette, get some fresh air, take some deep breaths, do some meditation? You can stop me anytime.
No, never. Welcome back to Process!
Welcome back, gang.
By way of noise, people like the first half? That is the right answer. Good. By way of noise, 224, second half. See, that's good, but also you're wrong because we need to do like a sacrificial poem to kind of start the second half, obviously. So we're not ready for the second half just yet. We need to do that officially, innit? See, it's that one. This is the weird thing with us featuring ourselves, because it means that we're basically going to have to intro ourselves twice. So let's find out another way to intro Kayla, and I feel like let's try and. If I was nice the first time, can I find a way to be shady or mean the second time to kind of balance myself out?
You're wasting time.
The fact that I'm even considering this is the whole thing. I will keep saying it. When I was looking to do Process here, Kayla was the first, last, and only person I ever thought of to do this with me. Please welcome my obviously better half, Kayla!
Okay, the thing is that that's not true, because you said, you're my first choice, I can't think of anyone better to do it with, but if you don't want to do it, I'll ask PJ. So, for my sacrifice, I'm also doing a friend's poem. The thing is that it's actually technically a song, except that it's not. This is a track, a spoken word track, I don't know, anyway. He'd probably kill me for saying spoken word and calling it that, even though that's exactly what it is, but whatever. Anyway, this is Stopping a Garden Hose with Your Thumb by the Narcissist Cookbook. There is also music that goes along with it, so I suggest that you look it up when you get home. So I kissed that person I've been talking to. You know, the one I've been mildly crushing on and off for half a decade, and it felt strange. Not the kiss. The kiss was great. I mean, it felt strange to know that it was okay. That I didn't need to choose between this thing that we have and what this other thing might be. I could just relax and take things easy, as much as I'm ever capable of either of those things. Anyway, drift, wherever this strange new breeze might take me. And you know me, I feel at any given time tugged in all directions at once. That is, if anything, can be thus described my defining quality. But I spent years pathologizing that very thing, listening with rapt attention when the world told me I was disgusting, like a child listening to a bedtime story. And, you know, I don't even really think I mean that metaphorically. We really do make a point of teaching kids that there is precisely one way to be, one way to live. Straight, cis, overworked, and monogamous. Anything else is in some way less. And so I learned, as a lot of people like me did, that it was better to hide and to lie and pretend than to express ourselves honestly. This approach was actively encouraged, for fuck's sake, as if those habits have ever once produced a single happy or healthy individual in the history of our species. It's like trying to fucking shut off a garden hose by clamping your thumb over the end. It seems to work for about half a second. And then what had been a steady stream becomes a dozen water jets shooting everywhere, and you can't control it and get super fucking wet. And actually, you know what? That metaphor got away from me a little bit. What I'm trying to say is, by not accepting who I am and what I want, by crushing and condensing my identity till it explodes all over everything, I hurt people. And then I kept doing it again and again, until I learned that raging against the parts of me I find hard to love doesn't actually erase them. It doesn't actually fix anything. It just makes me ill and unfulfilled. And you know what's truly terrible is that some people go their whole lives thinking that's an okay way to feel. They wake up every morning and voluntarily erase themselves, dream by dream, wish by wish, until they're barely even fucking people anymore. They're just piles of bones and hair and flesh, red meat going bad. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, man, but that sounds far worse than any awkward, honest conversation I have ever had. It's not done, I'm just coughing. Thing is, once you pop, you cannot stop. And now I'm eyeing an uncomfortable question. What other parts of me have I been neglecting? What are the scary, strange things that are under here? Because if it's possible to love more than one person, maybe I can love more than one aspect of me. Anyway, I don't need a reply to this urgently. I just wanted to say that I kissed someone today, and I think it changed everything. Mostly better, except that thing's happening where if I'm not constantly drinking water, if I've been too much talking, I can't stop coughing. So give me a second. It's okay, Tyrone can do the rest of the talking tonight. So that was Stopping a Garden Hose with Your Thumb by the Narcissist Cookbook. The Narcissist Cookbook is the one you won't forget, so go on Spotify on your way home and listen to it, because his voice is nicer than mine. And he has a Scottish accent, which is very sexy. I'm going to tell him I said that. Anyway, would you like another headliner? So, I just say nice. I already said nice things about you. Can I say mean things about you? I don't know where you are. What's mean? Tyrone's a bitch. But he's a really good friend, and he's a really good ally. Like, I mentioned this earlier. Like, the reason that people are so often surprised that Tyrone is straight is because the bar for allyship is so low. Tyrone never assumes anyone's pronouns, never assumes anyone's sexuality, never assumes anything about anyone until he gets to know them, which he takes his sweet time doing sometimes. But what that does is it makes people feel like they can present what they intended to. They can present how they feel about themselves around him. And that is basically a person very effortlessly going, I'm safe, I'm friend-shaped. And then genuinely living that every single day of his fucking life. As I said before, people have come from all over the country to come to Tyrone Lewis's Poetry Night because he's a lot more famous than me. But he's also genuinely one of the best poets I know. We saw each other before we became friends. We became friends on the scene, and he is still one of my favourite poets. I love him a lot. Please welcome to the stage, Tyrone Lewis.
Most people, I feel, have seen me perform in some way, shape or form, so be ready for effectively 15 minutes of Tyrone's greatest hits, because I'm not writing new shit, I'm not about that vibe. I'm making a documentary called New Shit, I'm not writing new shit, they're different. Yes. All of the catchphrases and whatnot. Speaking of catchphrases, let's do this one, because apparently this one feels like it's a catchphrase for me. There's too many vegan poets. There are too many vegetarian options on a Nando's menu, and there are too many healthy options on a McDonald's menu. There are too many types of beer, and there are too many types of wine, and there are too many types of alcohol. There are too many people addicted to alcohol, and there are too many of my friends addicted to alcohol. And there are too many nights where I have been addicted to alcohol. And there are too many nights we can no longer mention, and too many people we can no longer mention, and there are too many vegan poets, and there are too many comic book stories. There are too many Superman stories, and too many Batman stories, and too many Spider-Man stories, and there are too many Spider-Man films for that matter. No, actually, there are too many Spider-Man origin films to further that matter, though I did really enjoy Into the Spider-Verse. I think they're really incredible films. But also, there's too many white people in Egyptian films. And there's too many people defending white people in Egyptian films. And there's too many Michael Bay films. And there's too many explosions in Michael Bay films. And there's too many explosions. And there's too much bombing in the real world. And there's too many people fighting over which bombing is more important in the real world. And there's too many vegan poets, and there's too many people dying. There's too many pictures of people who look like me dying. There's too many people who look like me dying. There are too many fake news stories breaking on Twitter. There are too many news stories breaking on Twitter, and I don't want to be one. There are too many hashtags on Twitter, and I don't want to be one. There are too many SpongeBob memes on Twitter, and I'm kind of retweeting every single one of them. And there are too many vegan poets, and there are too many people making vague statements in their poems. And there are too many vague statements being made in this poem. And despite going through editors and being published and whatever, there still will be too many lines in this poem. But there's too many vegan poets, and there's too many poetry nights. There's too many times I performed this poem. There's too many good poetry nights I've gone to perform this poem. For example, obviously I've got Process. We are back here on the last Tuesday of every month. Also, as an advanced thing, Shits and Scribbles, I'll be doing it in April. There's Unislam in March, head down to that one. Everything is the first Monday of every month, that's a really good one. You've got the goddamn Poetry Jam, which is the third Tuesday of every month. There's more to go, so there's a lot of good poetry nights, but also too many bad poetry nights. And there's too many nights, and there's too many days, there's too many weeks, there's too many months, there's too many years, and there's too many man, too many man. And there's too many men ruining the world. And there's too much wrong with the world to be able to still all inside of one poem. And there's definitely too many of us that just keep on happening. And of course, there's still too many vegan poets. Thank you. See, the wonderful thing was Kayla did a lovely little set that was like, cool, I'm going to do it on a theme, it's going to stick to that one, that kind of stuff. Again, this is Tyrone's greatest hit. We're jumping all around the place with this one kind of thing. So, on Thursday, I turned 32. This next poem was based on the week when I turned 22. This one is called My Dinner with Gary.
Oh, yeah.
We each spend 5 minutes staring at a Nando's menu, even though we both know what we're going to order. Spent the last 9 years not talking to each other, so it's a few more seconds. I guess I got my stubbornness from him. Inherited it along with his last name and oversized feet, but before I can make any more comparisons, he speaks. He doesn't sound like me. But he's offering to pay, so we'll let it slide. Ordered the same thing as me, even down to the heat, and it's worrying how normal this all is. We trade small talk in between mouthfuls, skillful, avoiding big questions, even bigger answers. We're not there yet, or at least I don't think we are, but then he asks how mum is. And I'm not sure how to answer. I'm not sure what kind of answer he wants or what kind of an answer I'm allowed to give, and fine seems to suffice. And even throwing good to add in a bit more colour, and he seems satisfied. Doesn't pry, just accepts it. It's like he expected it, and we're halfway through now. That's when he brings up Damari. Calls him my brother, and I choose not to correct him and say half. Says that he's good in school, like me. Says that he's creative, like me. Says he likes films, like me. And he keeps talking, but I'm not paying attention to what he's saying. Instead, I'm thinking back to a month ago when he posted a picture of Damari on his Facebook wall, captioning it with how proud he was of his son. Now, I can believe that me and Damari have a few things in common. I just don't think a dad is one of them. We're 3/4 of the way through the meal now, and that's when he said how he's tried to track me down for ages. How he's tried to track me down through old acquaintances, old phone numbers, and old addresses, and I guess me into out of small talk. So that he never gave up trying, and before I can even question him, he goes to his pocket, pulls out his wallet, and takes out 2-year-old me. I am crinkled from the years, but still smiling. And so is he, because he's finally found me again, and I don't want to deny him this moment, so we asked the couple at the table beside us to take our picture. That night he'll go home, post it on his Facebook wall, caption it with happy birthday to my eldest son, Tyrone. Hope you have a blessed day, we've got a lot of catching up to do. Now, I don't think that he's ever going to be my father. But I guess I could be his son. Last year I put out a book. It is called Too Black, Too Furious. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good with titles, so this is the thing that I did. So when I was doing the first book, I was very conscious of my first book, Blackish, which is no longer in stock, that like I wanted that to be like a very active thing of this is what I want the book to be and what I wanted to represent, etc. This second book was like, fuck it, I like these poems are going in the book kind of thing. And like with that as well, there were like there's a couple of poems that like, I think the first book possibly could have had, I don't say should have had, but like, it was that vibe of like, there are poems I was doing a while ago that kind of maybe, was like, oh, I was known for that one, but it didn't get published in that first book, so I tried to find a way to publish it in this one. And like, with me like constantly looking at the idea of identity in poetry, I think this is one of the ones that kind of came up a fair bit. So this is an old school throwback, all the throwback, I think it's the oldest poem in both of my books now, so this is this one. Thank you. I am not a slam poet. Chapter 1! I am not a slam poet. I was not birthed onto the stage, nor am I a phoenix flapping image wings as my fiery tongue burned your ears. I am not a political rant in human form. I am not liberal enough to label you with opinions I haven't matured into potent propaganda dressed in standards, nor have I lived long enough that I can potentially bluff any of that stuff. I am not sufficiently wise enough that I can mould your thoughts, nor am I innovative enough to inspire you, so I'll conserve those thoughts for now. Chapter 2. I am not American, nor is my accent influenced by them. It remains mine with no twang added to it. Emphasis is not drawn out, and shouts are few and far between. See? I have not used Icarus wings to fly across the blue. I have never gotten too close to their sun, and whilst yes, I have swum in YouTube videos of Def Jam and button poetry, I have not swallowed enough of their water that my lungs have been suffocated by their verses. Chapter 3. I am not dramatic. I am not well enough of my poem to act out, nor therefore free enough for me to fully perform. Chapter 4. I have not practiced my art, my tempos erratic. My stanza's too diverse, I need to rehearse my flow and plan where to go, and not dropping random rhymes so sublime they'll stick like class from chewing gum in the back of your mind. Just need better lines. Chapter 6. No. Chapter 5. I make mistakes. My humanity is apparent. Omnipotence is not a talent I possess, nor have my words created any form of worship. So chapter 6 or 7 or whatever, I don't believe there's a slam poet. I don't believe there's a performance poet, a written poet, a poet who only performs on a Tuesday. I believe in poetry. In a poet who writes an idea on their phone that they promise they'll expand on later. I believe in the poet working part-time, using their break to prepare for their next open mic, and the poet who sits in their bedroom with a blank Word document waiting for inspiration. I believe in poetry. And the person who takes photos of landscapes that they call poetic, in those that promote all their events via Facebook and Insta, and I believe in those who work in their notebooks no other eyes have or will see. I believe in poetry. And any disciple who chooses to follow them in whatever way, shape, or form is simply a poet. Oh, let's do dumb old shit. Cool. Cool. So, again, when I was doing the first book was like, cool, you're going to do it about identity, etc. And one of the main identities that I'm trying to figure out, obviously, as many people figure out, is gender and whatnot. So this is a poem that is definitely serious about gender, because it's very, very serious. This poem is definitely serious. Take every word seriously in this poem. This poem is called Man Walks Into a Bar. Man walks into a bar, says ouch, blames women. Man walks into a bar, gets into a bar fight. Man walks into a bar and gets annoyed that the blonde who was there before him gets served first. Man walks into a bar and apropos of nothing starts telling you how his favourite film is Fight Club. Man walks into a bar, performs a poem about how much he loves natural looking women. Man walks into a bar, performs a poem about how much he hates women wearing makeup. Man walks into a bar, performs a poem about men in hopes that he gets praised for his wokeness. Man walks into a bar for a comedy night and laughs at all the dick jokes, but then gets annoyed that the one female comedian didn't do relatable material. Man walks into a bar after holding the door open for a woman. Woman walks through and says nothing. Man asks, well, aren't you going to say thank you? Man walks into a bar and slaps a woman on the arse. Man walks by and starts complaining about his ex-girlfriend and repeatedly refers to her as female. Man walks into a bar and starts complaining about his ex-girlfriend and repeatedly refers to her as crazy. Man walks into a bar and starts complaining about being single. Man walks into a bar and is confrontational with all the patrons and loudly complains about how shit the atmosphere is. Man walks into a bar and trips over the weight of his own privilege and blames the staff. Man walks into a bar and apropos of nothing starts telling you how his favourite film director is Quentin Tarantino. Man walks into a bar and proceeds to lecture you about why your choice of drink is wrong. Man walks into a bar and his hands are in his pockets because obviously all of his clothing comes with pockets. Man walks into a bar and orders a drink and at some point leaves it unattended and nothing bad happens. Man walks into a bar and his elbow knocks over his own glass and he's pissed off at how long it takes someone from behind the bar to clean up his own mess. Man walks into a bar, buys you a drink you didn't ask for and then gets offended when you don't leave with him. Man walks into a bar, has bought a drink by another man and doesn't leave with him. Man walks into a bar, buys it, and then takes credit for the previous owner's achievements. Man walks into a bar, starts masturbating on all the tables. Woman comes in and yells, "What the fuck are you doing?" Man goes, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Tone." Man walks into a bar for a first date. He isn't worried about if they're going to get home safe. Man walks into a bar for a fifth date. He isn't worried about if they're going to get home safe. Man walks into a bar and gets blackout drunk. He is still not worried about if they're going to get home safe. Man walks into a bar and then man takes the night bus home. Gonna end on this one. It is the last poem from my book, and it was one of the last poems I wrote for the book. So the whole process of writing this book, because I can go a little bit of story time before you get into all this, to the level of, because of some weird mix-ups with my publisher, etc., I got told in October that I need to finish this book by February because they'd missed a few emails and the deadline was coming up. So I had like 4 months to basically try to finish off writing a book, which was a whole thing. And obviously, as my life panned out, that October was also the October when I got to my mum had cancer, so that kind of became a lot of the whole thing with the book. One of the things that we're kind of proud of, if you're going to call it proud, is from last year, is that the book came out whilst mum was still here. We were able to have that, etc. And one of the things with that as well, which my mum was very adamant about, and I was not going to defy her on, was that she had no issue with this poem being in the book, but she wanted this poem to be in the book in the present tense. So this one is called Go Tell It Over the Hills. Let the record state that my mother is not a loser. When they talk about it, make sure you are aware that she did not lose her battle with cancer. This was never a fair fight to begin with. Cancer blindsided us, embodied Stone Cold and The Rock, and by God, it brought back the attitude era that snuck into the ring whilst the referee was inexplicably knocked out. Came in carrying an unidentified foreign object that some call a steel chair, and it struck, and it struck, and it struck. Let it be known that my mother is not a warrior. The doctors never prescribed her armor, never equipped her with a sword or a shield. She was never proficient with the blade, doesn't hold martial arts in her DNA. She may have karate belts in our cupboards, but those moves don't have the same sticking power the likes of which riding a bike has. Let's make it clear that my mum can't ride a bike. She did not take to swimming like a fish to water. High school and Duolingo means she has a rough grasp on French and Spanish, but fluency is not a skill I ascribe to her. And let me tell you, though, that my mother is a runner. Holds memories of 10Ks and marathons in her legs. Let her tell you that. All the time. Let her show you how seamless it is to take a conversation about IKEA furniture and relate it to running a marathon. Her body was healthy before, used to be part of her routine before, was more fluent with Strava than Facebook before, 4.5 stones ago. Let me remind you that my mother loves films, attends Odeons like church, has worshipped at big screens for decades, stayed to the end of the credits of every film before Marvel made it cool. Know that she paid attention to the man behind the curtain, was there to watch the flowers come back to life in E.T. She watched as Luke and Leia switched from seduction to siblings. My mother's traded places with the Village of the Damned, and I've seen her get out to embody the Black Panther and will do so again the day after tomorrow. Let me point out that no matter how many times I try to put her into words, she simply will not fit. There is simply too much of her to constrict to language. Too many feelings, far more evolved than English. The love I have for her is far purer and greater than the words I have available to me. There will never be enough poems for her, but I'll be damned if I don't at least try and close that gap. So go tell it on the mountains, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it, let the record show that my mother is living. Thank you. This isn't going to help with any of the ego rumours, but as I'm already on stage and kind of the whole hosting way of doing things, one more time for Tyrone, everyone. Okay, so what name's in the hat? The vibe we're going for is we'll pull the last name out at around 10:30. So we're going to do as many names as we can do up until then. We good? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Drum roll, please. To kick off the open mic in the second half, can we please welcome to the stage, Zach!
Thank you. Okay, hold on. I need to get the thing. I'll start with this one. This one's my sort of love letter to every single person who has ranted about something they're interested in. My mind is a DVD library that is only half full. And each shelf and each row is categorized, sorted, and framed into every type and texture of niche topics you tell me about. All of the rants, info dumps, and yaps, all propped up and neatly stacked, never dusty. You'd be surprised on how often I play them back. Though my memory is a clumsy thing, and some discs get scraped and I forget a few facts, I'll never lose the raw immersion on your face as you state to me your case on why your topic, of all topics, is the best one. But this video shop is only half full, and I have so many shelves to fill. So teach me every niche and tidbit, so just for a moment I can be an expert like you. Drop me all the lore and history so that when I am grey and elderly, the youngsters won't get any outdated advice from me. No. What I'll give them instead is all your stories left in my wrinkled head, so maybe one of those days, one of those darn kids can take the same passion that you did. Thank you. The other day, a kind lady told me I had a nice hat, and it really suited me. The other day was over 3 years ago. They weren't as nice times, and I won't give them the details on them much, partly because I don't want to, but also because whether it be through repression, avoidance, or just simply forgetting, my memories of that time have simply eroded away, leaving only a vague idea left, as if the title of a page remained, but the text was weathered and watered until all that was left was a murky, illegible, inky mess. Except one thing had remained. Time had eaten away at a mountain of trauma, but kindness is made of much more durable stuff. And whenever I look back at those mist-covered months, its light always pierces through. That is a nice hat. It really suits you. Thank you.
I got to see Zach's first ever performance at Off the Chest many months ago. Another regular year. Yes, that was a sentence. Sorry, did you ever say a sentence and then hear it back and you're like, were those words in the right order? Anyway, drum roll, please. Please welcome to the stage, I think, for the first time, Kosh.
Hi, Process. It's my first time here. I'm already having a banging night, thank you. I was gonna do something else, but Kayla's set made me cry. So I thought I would do a poem that is a weird kind of love poem for my friend who I love dearly. They came into my life a few years ago, but we locked in real hard. But I'm kind of shy, kind of an introvert, and it was hard for me to really tell them how much I love them. So I did what any normal person would do. I wrote a poem in secret. I invited them to an open mic. And I made them cry. The other piece of information you need to know about this is that, so I live in Margate, and it's like a car park for ships that are queuing to get into the port in Essex. And on a really hot day, you get this mirage where they seem to float in the sky. This is called ships in the sky. It's a hazy day, as hot as Hades. Concrete bounce sun in our faces, and seagulls, they float lazy on the plate flat sea. And ships, not where they're meant to be, slung topside of the horizon, colliding with sun-glowed clouds. And you and me, we see them. And their freedom from Earth is contagious. We quit the ground for the air, and I ain't felt this light in ages. Floating past, we ask, what if those ships never find their destination? What if, instead of possessions, we turn toward what brings us elation? We show patience. We stop racing towards the latest salacious failures and pain, and released from late-stage capitalism and consumerist culture, our bodies are almost mundane. Just a frontier of sensation, a way to move through the space that we dream in. Up here, clothes have no meaning. My shirt falls, you kick your sandals, and they crown a sandcastle, pink straps all waving like flags, celebrating a new world order. One where we are free from expectation, free from know your station, free from being judged and being blamed for how the world has tried to name us, free from pressure that made you smaller. Up here, unfurling, I see you're taller and stranger than the aurora borealis. Your love is planet forming, strong enough to bind the orbit of our non-binary stars. I know love because you taught me. I'm still here because you caught me. The collective noun for you would be a kindness, because you're the finest this galaxy can offer, but I'll never need it, because you're a one-off. Kind enough to see the real me. Kinder still to see how to heal me. You take my hand and lead me home, my brain uncurled. We float back down to this strange world. Hot concrete coals, hard beneath our souls. And I wonder, how much more freedom can two bodies hold? Thank you.
Tyrone's soapbox time. See, M. Kosh came down from Margate to come to this night, and we fecking love and adore that. I know cost of living crisis, so I understand a lot of the struggles with day-to-day life, etc. But if you have the means, I greatly urge you London-based poets to go out of London sometime and check out poetry nights across the UK. There's so many fucking good ones. Poetry is not just a London thing. If you can, go and support them. If you can't physically go, there's also so many online things. I know Clive Osman runs a regular online night. Hannah Hutzpah does, but I didn't mean Hannah was London-based, but like Clive Osman's an online night. There's also like people that are putting out things online. The I Am Loud crew in Scotland have some resources online. There's a new online space in Birmingham called Crates Poetry. They're putting out feature sets online. Engage your poetry for more than just London, please. That's my soapbox moment, that's my thing. Please do it, because poetry is good and it's not just London-based, so do that. But nevertheless, one more time for M. Kosh! Actually, on that tangent, as of the past 48 hours, they have announced the new UK Poetry Slam champion, and it is a pleasure to say they were a former feature here, as our new Poetry Slam champion is Sven Steers. So yeah, good poets live outside London too. But yes, drum roll please. I am off my soapbox now, but now on this stage, can we please welcome the best daughter in the room, Ali!
Without the drip. Okay, and also I have a slice of garlic bread in my pocket. So I was like, I don't come up with the garlic bread coat, and then no one's going to believe me, but it's right here. Right here in my pocket, a slice of garlic bread. I literally bought it for the bit and also to snack on later. Okay, so I bought my mum tonight. She wants everyone to know that she thinks you're really cool and also please stop making her cry. I'm making a book. I get on the tangents tonight. It's like I can't concentrate because I didn't expect my mum to be here and now she's here, so it's really cool. And I'm like nervous, guys. Oh, my mum's really cool, guys. Okay, hi. Her name is Jenny. Say hi, Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Woo! I'm so glad everyone did that. Okay, I'm going to read some stuff from my manuscript. I have a manuscript. New script. The book is coming out soonish. The poetry book launch, that's the word, is on April 9th, hopefully. But when I have more details, I'll put it out into the world. Okay, I'm going to choose random shit from my manuscript. Okay, first one, playground games. One of us became a dog. If you wanted to play, you'd have to accept the majority vote. The dog stands in the middle. 10, 20, 30 of us, or ready to run. The dog barks. We run through him, dodging, flailing limbs. If he caught you, you'd be a dog too. The rest of us would run from you. There was once a dog I knew, good at barking, bad at chasing. When all of us were done playing, and he was still sitting, waiting, I approached and said, I'll be a dog too. This one I had to send this. Okay. Firstly, Kayla's going to be editing my manuscript because she's really cool. They are really cool. And also, another poet edited the first draft of my manuscript. That poet said just one word in response to this poem. Good. So, it's untitled. It's literally called M-. So, I'm going to read that. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, so tell me why, that as I wander, I feel no need to close the distance between you and your persistence. If I grew wings and flew away and couldn't hear those words you say, would your chains still seek to ground me? Would I still feel your gaze upon me? You mark me, so I wear your colours. Squeeze me till I'm naught but mutters, and a soft pink flesh swells and blackens. I'd be blind to miss the patterns. I envy clouds that fly so freely when the weight of bruises bind me, when my heart is warped by taut white scars and I'm without the breath to laugh. I think of you in the cold, quiet dark. I run my hand over skin still marked, and as my feelings bulge and blister, cooling rage leaves me ashes, bitter, like the taste left by your name on my tongue. I have one relatively new poem, which I have only read twice, and I'm going to read it. It's called kind of new shit, and it's kind of inspired by a present my mum got me for Christmas. So I have to.
My mum got me for Christmas shit.
Yes! So I'm going to read it. And then I'm going to leave the stage because I don't know how long I've been up here. This is called That Tea-Coloured Water is a Lie. I have this nasty habit. I'll use and reuse over and over my favourite pale pink mug. My favourite mug. That spells out handle C, print U-N-T. There's not enough time to read this poem, guys. Sorry. Go to my Instagram. No. I can't read it in 15 seconds, and I'm not disrespecting the bell. My Instagram is Mrs. Minnie, MISSUSMINIME. If you didn't get that, come find me. I'm going to be around. Love you.
so sorry, Ali. But also, it's like a nice teaser. If people like the beginning of that poem, they'll want to read the whole book. Oh yeah. So go follow Mrs. Mini-Me. If you didn't get that, go find them. Anyway. Also, you referred to me as she and then corrected yourself and said they. Both is good. Both is good. You know that meme from what fucking film was it? It's gone out of my head. Road to El Dorado. Thank you. Both is good. Anyway. What a great film. Oh, it's so. It's anyway. Drum roll. Ooh, I think this is a first timer. I know because they thought someone would have the same name as them, and no one did. Please welcome to the stage for the first time ever at Process, new member of the Process family, Chloe.
So this first poem is called Robin, and it sort of came out of that weird, sleepy, like post-lockdown feeling. So here I hop, a body made from biro squiggles, goosebumps, and static hairs. Ambiently absent, I stop idly on the wall near breadcrumb fall, calling to nothingness. As light dims, hopping subsides. No crumbs today, she mouths from a window opposite. Smoking, she extends her tongue, tasting evening, unladen by rush hour cries of children in after-school clubs. Still, melancholy inveigles its way behind her eyes, humming. Her sinuses burning, 6 a.m. buses slouching by, ferrying no one nowhere. Bus stops, empty lots, a clock face, a forgotten remnant of excess, but from time to time she tastes those ticks on her tongue, down her throat, in her lungs. Black, speckled plastic pieces with waffle sole patterns, trodden into near oblivion. She returns to find me, pecking away at gum stuck firmly to bus stop. This next poem is... This next one is called In Search of an Anchor Before the End of Time, and just comes out of different conversations I have with my mum while I'm walking around the place all the time, non-stop. So, In Search of an Anchor Before the End of Time. 1. We often talk of faith on the phone. I dodge dog shite and pavement cracks. Mother avoids probing questions that border on sacrilege while I look for God on the bottom of my shoe. Then later, in a memory of the mantelpiece, nestled between Mother Mary and the Sacred Heart, obscured by folds of milky crystal candle wax splashed across a phone screen, cherry glistening atop a Bakewell tart in the eyes of a performer, tattooed, shimmering, in the swirling butter flicked across my soup. There, beneath the oil slicks sloshing in the depths of my coffee cup, filling my blood with microplastic and something else, something long gone, an ancient UFO cresting half-forgotten stars, illuminating faiths breathed into existence by men's bellies. Their thoughts slapped across their faces in twisted smiles and too long glances. I believe, she repeats, her voice bridging miles of distance between us. I believe, I mimic, knowing that I did, but also I didn't, because it meant something entirely different to her, something I'd never understand because I lived in a time without a future, where faith was trusting a stranger you met online, and church was a bed damp with sweat, where you declared love for each other, loosely yet earnestly, perhaps unearned but needed in a time before the end, when we're told not to love too much or too hard, that love bombing's wrong, that it'll drive them away. But what else is left before the end except to love and forget? 2. To dive into the deep in search of an anchor in the shape of a smile on the face of a lover below streetlights and half nights, blackened by alcohol and cigarette smoke over technicolor waterways and shortening days until my body host-like splinters. short one to finish off. So this one's just caught on film. So I was like seeing this bloke for a bit. Took a photo of him with my film camera, and then like by the time I got my film developed, I wasn't seeing him anymore, and so classic. So it's called Caught on Film. So you are now just a ghost in a photo on my phone. A photo of a photo because I captured you on film, but by the time you developed, you were a stranger again. I don't know what to do with you now, when you're made of dark grain and shadows and no longer resemble the potential I held for you in my head. So I suppose I'll keep you, until my phone runs out of space and sentimentality faded. You'll be relegated to deletion, like the rest of the things I once wanted so badly to capture in grayscale, before I knew what they really wanted from me. Thank you.
Will forever be proud of the fact that it's been 2 years and we're still getting people coming here brand new and love that shit. So one more time for Chloe, everyone! Gotta keep it moving, so drum roll, please. Our next open micer is going to be, if I can open the paper, yes you can. Can we please welcome to the stage, Hannah A! I can't see movement.
Hannah B. Sorry, I was told there was another Hannah, so I wasn't sure. Okay. I'm gonna do 2 poems. I'll start off with an old one and then a new one. I want to fall in love so deeply it hurts. Letting its sweet poison slowly sink under my skin. I want to be impulsive, do things on a whim, and after just happily sing Love Made Me Do It, Cheryl Tweedy style. I want to open up, be wanted, vulnerable, and needy all at the same time. I want to abandon all reason and be drunk on the never-ending thought of you. I want to dance on the fine line between heartbreak and happy ever after, diving fearlessly into memories shaped by your presence. I want to spend hours pulling back the layers, getting familiar with the essence that is you. I want to fall in love. And then this one is newer. It's called Supernova, and actually the science might not be correct, so that's my disclaimer. I watched The Theory of Everything, and I just felt like really knowledgeable afterwards, like Stephen Hawking, so that's where my reference is for this. If I find it. Okay. Thank you. When a star dies, it collapses, caving in upon itself as the atoms that withhold its existence give way.
no longer able to bear the weight of great beauty on them minute shoulders. I've never seen it with my own eyes, but I can imagine it's a spectacular process. Majestic, hot, and slow, as if the star wants to savor each moment of its decay and leave its mark before its light. One it's always held, effortlessly and dazzled the galaxy's darkness with, is lost. I often feel the same process is unfolding as I watch you get smaller each year. Determined smile on your face, but creeping confusion in your eyes as the body you once beheld declines. Hobbling from foot to foot with greys peppered across your hair, looking like the gothic sky of a storm that is gathering. The vulnerability you once quietly sheltered so well, unveiling itself in a loud biological betrayal. A creaking knee and aching back, knots in your thighs and your mind that seem to get tighter with each massage. I often watch on helplessly, wanting to ease the burden so you can savor each moment of the decay, unavoidable as it is. It's made me put any ideas of superhero parents, indestructible and almighty, on the shelf. In its place, glass figurines, emotional and fragile, but real. Now I often spend my time with you, tiptoeing to places you can't reach and bending into the empty spaces I can squeeze into to slow time down and freeze moments of happiness around you. Anything to keep you here slightly longer. So lies my mission. Even if you never set it, I accept.
Because someone, another Hannah put their name in and said, oh, I bet there's another Hannah. And I was like, no, you're the first one. And then at the interval, Hannah A now, the name, and I said, unfortunately, you will need a last name because there's another Hannah now. Anyway, I love it when new people come and some of it's just, it's really nice and wonderful. Anyway, I'm going to try and get through as many more as I possibly can. So, please welcome to the stage another regular, wonderful member of the Prentice family. Please welcome Atlas.
How are we doing, guys? I think a good thing is that when I come to these, I never know what to perform. And I think it's because I'm getting like a decent bank of poems. So because this is the second birthday of Process, I'm gonna perform the first poem I ever read at Process. It was actually the first time I ever performed. Bit of trivia for you. So if someone asks you, when was the first time Atlas performed? You know. This is called Circumstance. I told myself I'd never do this. Black boys don't cry. Black boys don't talk about their feelings. I wanted to hate you for not giving us a chance. You told me there was no future. I wanted to focus on the now, and I wanted to be with you more than anything. Because before I met you, I'd never tasted bubble tea, or listened to New Age Neo Soul, or told my parents about a girl. Before I met you, I'd never been in love. What happened to me wasn't fair. Us. I meant us. What happened to us wasn't fair. Neither one of us cheated. We didn't fall out of love. We didn't drift apart or become bitter. Religion and culture stood in our way. Religion, culture, and circumstance. We could have lived in the moment. We should have lived in the moment. You always thought ahead. I told myself it was because of circumstance, and that softened the blow. Circumstance. I told my friends and family it was mutual. That was to protect you. I always tried to protect you. I always wanted to protect you. The truth is, you left me. And that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but circumstance. I ain't stupid. I know it was for the best. Leaving me doesn't make you a bad person. But you made me cry. And black boys shouldn't cry. They don't cry. If things were different, I'd have married her, I'd say. So why didn't you, people ask. Circumstance. I told my friends and family it was mutual because then no one would think badly of you. And even though you made me cry, I would never want anyone to think badly of you. But you hurt me. You really fucking hurt me. Because before I met you, I never had a panic attack. Before I met you, I'd never been in this kind of pain. Before I'd met you, I'd never cried over a girl. Because black boys don't cry. And the only reason I cried was because until I met you, I didn't know what it meant to be in love. Thank you. I got one more. It's not as depressing as that. I change the name to this all the time. I guess for now it's called Confessions of a Deluded Lover Boy. I hope you guys like this one. It's a bit fun. I ain't got a title yet, but stay with me. I'm thinking full cringe, full cliche, maximum emotion. I'm a proper lover boy and this movie needs to show it. So I'm the lead in this rom-com, because of course I am. And this isn't no hood love story neither. It's not even set in London. In this rom-com, I'm a rich boy, living somewhere sunny. All the money in the world and no one to spend it on. All the time in the world and no one to spend it with. That's why I spend my time partying with women I don't even fancy and partying with dudes I don't even like. That's the bedrock of this movie. Timothy Chalamet will play my well-meaning best friend. Always complaining about how I keep hurting good women. And of course I never listen, because why should I? Stars don't have to listen. It's me playing me, authentic as possible. I still have my Northwest London accent and I still walk weird because of my dodgy left ankle. This isn't a movie about race, it's a movie about me. It's a movie about love. I ain't making this movie to comment on black relationships and that kind of thing. I'm making it because I really want Zendaya to be my co-star. So, like that one. So Zendaya plays the female lead. And Idris Elba, we like Idris Elba, right? He and Kerry Washington will play my good-spirited rich parents who want me to finally settle down. And that will explain why I got so much money. And like I said, full cliche, full cringe. So listen, we meet at our party, I'm smitten, she's interested but reluctant because I'm a playboy. You're trouble, she'll say. And I'll say, maybe I just need the right girl. I'll reply, so maybe I just need the right girl, I reply. I chase, she falls, I hurt her, she leaves me. Timothy Chalamet does that annoying pouting thing that he does, and he tells me off, and then I realize how lucky I am to have her. Cue a shitload of grand gestures, cue a shitload of begging and apologizing, cues in there coming back home, coming back to me where she belongs. She knows I'm a good dude, really. And this movie needs a happy ending, so we live happily ever after. Cliche, 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 cliche. I'm not sure if this movie is a rom-com or a love letter to Zendaya. It could easily be both, but it's worth watching, so see it with your girl, see it alone. Either way, I hope you see it. And I hope you see yourself in me when you're watching, because we all deserve to be loved. Thank you.
I've just got to say I've got a lot of time for Timothy Chalamet. Though I remember him from back in the day on his YouTube, when his YouTube channel was literally called Modded Controller 360. We love that he went from YouTube to June. We love that growth, but we also love the growth that Atlas has shown since becoming here. So one more time for Atlas, everyone! And an applause to drum rolls, please. I'm not going to go to drum rolls as singular, plural, whatever. That's a grammar is fine. Doesn't matter. The point is, our next open micer is the one and only Joshua.
I haven't done the stage before. It's bright. I hadn't realised that. I've now got so, I can say random crap while I look for the poem. This is a poem after another poem by Jack Underwood called I Am Zonal Coordinator. And I love that poem because he repeats the word apricots in it like that a lot of times. I didn't do it like that, I haven't heard him do it, but in my mind he always says it like apricots. So, let's hope I can find it. Yes. Hello, many things, thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, there we go. That's part of the poem. That's the start of the poem, brilliant. And it's called Fish with No Eyes. Picture a kitchen cupboard like life. Textures, emotions, ingredients. You are inside the kitchen cupboard. You are a scrunched up ball of tagliatelle, slowly being lowered into the boiling minutes and hours beneath. Relax into time. Breathe out as the waterbed, air mattress, feather pillow of tomorrow wraps possibly around your sternum. Can you feel the time being digested, slowly incorporated into your cells as you eat through each moment? Pull the blankets closer. Breathe. There. Doesn't that moment taste beautiful? The next moment is a jam sandwich made just for you. Get ready for it. Now make a wish. Let the birthday candle shooting stars settle in your ancient well of ideas. Feel them bubble up as your brain fills with lemonade. Can you feel your cerebral cortex fizzing? Can you feel the ideas? Breathe in. These are all good ideas, even the bad ones. You put the bad ones into an IKEA waste paper basket that's only slightly carbonated. Unclip your bins. Let the basket rise up, tip over mid-air, thoughts everywhere. Breathe out. Let your stresses unfurl like ribbons in a blue sky storm. You follow their patterns and plant your gold at the bottom of a lush green hill. It's a nice day, and the grass is smiling at you. You are light as a tether, floating like dandruff through the empty sky. The ground beneath your feet is in awe of your socks. They have little animals on them, and they are beautiful. They close their eyes as you relax into a spaghetti of positions, comfortable as a meatball. You forgot to brush your teeth, and that's okay. Each new pause tastes of fructose as excited electrons dance on your taste buds. Breathe in. The future is bright. Now repeat after me. It's okay to rest. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. Thank you.
Just gonna not touch anything. Wow. Is it the first time you've been on this stage? Yeah. Oh, but you've been okay. The fucking perils of the hat, I'm telling you. Alright. Drum roll. Next with Micah. It's gonna sound like I'm saying your name, but it's not. I'm so sorry. They sound the same. I'm so sorry. Please welcome to the stage, back for the second time, Jessie.
Definitely forget how bright it is, and I can't see a fucking thing. Sorry, freaking thing. Sorry, content warning for swearing, sorry.
You can swear, Jesse.
Oh, thank you. Fucking thank you. Okay, so this poem, it's a bit of a weird one. I created it, and then put some extra thoughts, and then went to a poetry night, and was like, oh, fuck, I've got to perform something. This one looks nice, and I just sort of threw it together during the night.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like, yes. Rough shit, I think is probably a better term, but hey, we'll see. It's called art. People are like art. All rough edges and lines, colours dripping off the canvas to pool in a riot on the floor. A messy intersection of opinions and beliefs. How often do we ask the wrong question of ourselves? Am I attractive? Am I enough? Am I loved? When the answer lies within. We don't ask these questions of a piece of art. We say, how does it make me feel? How does it challenge me? We don't ask art to be more than it is. We don't ask art to change for us. We don't ask it questions that only end up reducing it in their answering. We expect art to challenge us and our place in the world. And when we leave the art behind, we take its meaning and its challenge with us into the world.
why don't we give people this benefit of the doubt? So I'll come back to my simple truth. People are like art. You just need to ask the right questions. Sometimes the shit comes together. Okay. Oh, that was a bit of a rush, actually. Okay. The next one is about sometimes. This one does not play things cool. Actually, pretty much I don't ever play things cool. So if you get to know me, you'll find this out, but this is the poem about that shit. I had no expectations of how this would go. Then you showed up, all hugs and bright smiles. And we spent the evening reveling in each other's company. So comfortable it was that I forgot to look away when I saw how beautiful your eyes were. They sparkled like your smile, and you told me how your love life had been going, gone. I thought maybe it was the start of our story that sent you going, gone. Should have played it cool, but that's not really my thing, is it? It's great to be back here. If you want to find me, I've got some shit on Instagram, as well as a whole lot of like gig videos, which you might enjoy. I am Jesse Mack with a Y and an MAC.
Thank you, Jesse. And yes, follow each other on the Instagram, create that community, do that thing. So many of you guys are all doing so many different things and side hustles and projects and nights and all that kind of stuff. Support each other. Like, it's so easy to support each other, and like, even if it's a like or a share every now and then, like, do that and be there and be that community. But yes, one more time for Jesse, everyone! We are now down to our last two open micers for the night. In as much as we've only got time for two more, so drum roll please, everyone. Woo! Next up onto the open mic. I don't know why I'm speaking it like that, but I am apparently, because this is how the words are saying and coming out. Would it be a process, and would it be a birthday? I don't know what I'm doing. Fuck it, let's go for some consistency. Aviliards, get on stage now!
So, parasites are interesting, aren't they? I don't know, not everyone's a fan. Anyway, I say this because I've been looking into them a lot recently. I just, like I said, think they're interesting. Of course, you've got the basic parasites that are just living inside a host and eating them, but honestly, that's pretty bland compared to what some of them will do. Then you've got the sort of, we don't even have time for the parasitoid tiger, for example. Then you've got the specific ones which not only live inside their host, but will try and affect their host biology in other interesting ways. Like there are these tiny little, I think they're worms that will live inside snails, and their worms are very brightly coloured so that, essentially to attract birds to eat the snails, which is, you know, pretty interesting. But the ones that fascinate me so much are the ones that will actually modify the psychology and behaviour of the host. So, classic example of this would be, I found out about these recently actually, barnacles that will grow on crabs and essentially pretend to be eggs for the crab. Now, there's a slight problem with this, in that only the female crabs carry eggs. So, if you're a barnacle and you're on a male crab, you have to sort of, I think, eat its genitals, so that it stops thinking it's male, starts thinking it's female, and then does the correct things to care for you, the barnacles.
Another classic example of this would be cuckoos, which will replace themselves in the nest of other birds to be raised. Then you have, this happens in fungi as well, so you've got fungi that will grow on insects and cause the insect to seek higher ground so that they can spread their spores. Essentially, the insect will go to high ground, die, because that is the best place for the fungus to spread. But the one that I really love, I think, if I had to have a favourite parasite, I know everyone does, it's hard to choose, but I think there's this one, Toxoplasmosis gondii, which tends to live inside live inside rodents, and the idea is that this isn't one that negatively affects the rodent or its biology. It actually makes the rodents braver. And the reason it does this is because while it lives inside rodents most of the time, it can only reproduce inside the guts of big cats. So essentially what it does is it makes the host so brave that they won't be afraid when they see a big cat, which is a great way to get eaten. And another interesting thing about this one actually is that it's believed to be why we have these stereotypes about women hoarding cats. So the idea that cats, it sort of creates the same good feeling, but obviously the tiny cat isn't a predator to humans, so you essentially just end up with lots of cats around infesting someone in a decently harmless way. I don't know. I think stuff like this is interesting because it really makes you think how much your behaviour is, well, it's like they say, it's hard to believe there's room for all those organs and a person in the same body. It's stuff like that which is really, I don't know, I just think it's interesting for some reason. I never really thought about why before. It's hard to put, sorry, what was the, sorry, I had it. What was the question you asked?
How long have you wanted to be an astronaut?
Oh.
Avuniance's track record continues. They performed at pretty much every single one of these, and we love that level of consistency. One more time for Avuniance, everyone! This now brings us to our last open micer of the night. It's sadder than that. Maybe not that sad, but I respect that. Yes, unfortunately we can't get through everyone on here. We love that so many people want to perform. Unfortunately, we've got homes to get to, the bar staff have homes to get to. It's good to sleep and all of that. Nevertheless, can we do one final drum roll for me, please? As our last open micer for the night is going to be Raheem!
How's everyone doing? All good? I thought we're giving up hope, I'll be real. My name was in the hat last month. And like the past two went, I was like, it's not happening. So I'm really not prepared for this. But we're gonna go with it, So, the first poem I'm gonna do is called A Taxi I Got Last Week. It's a poem that means a lot to me. I didn't actually get the taxi last week. It was an Uber I got about 6 months ago, but that just doesn't have the same ring to it. But it means a lot to me. For
6 months ago, shit!
For a bit of context, so my dad's side of the family is Pakistani. I'm not in touch with them. My mum's side is Irish and English, and they're who I live with and who I was raised by. So for me, growing up, there's often been, I think, a little bit of confusion as to where I identify in terms of culture and also religion, because there's some kind of contrasting beliefs there. And this poem kind of describes an event that really brings that to the surface for me. So yeah, let's go. Last week, I got a taxi to get me from A to B. Once I'd sat down and strapped in, I noticed eyes glaring at me through the driver mirror. I felt my stomach start to churn and my chest begin to sink because I know how this goes by now. I've been here 100 times before. What's your name? Raheem. I give a wry smile back and try to sneak my earphones in, but the questions are quicker. Are you fasting? Nah, I'm not Muslim. I just thought because of your name, I know what you thought, yeah. I always feel such shame. But I don't hold any resentment because he doesn't know. How could he know? How could he know of my dual heritage? How could he know that I was raised by my Irish mother and my other mother, her wife, an atheist? How could he know? How could I expect him to know that I'm losing count of how many years it's been since I last saw my dad? How could he know that we don't cry about that besides on that one day in June which should not be named because no amount of crying will change what is? And I know it was just a question, but one question leads to two and two lead to a million, racing round in my head as I try to grapple with my identity. Try to answer the question that lies beneath them all, the predator waiting for me, its prey, who are you? Maybe in the next taxi, I'll have an answer. Thank you so much. Thank you. Shout out Atlas, man. Shout out Atlas, that's my guy. Without him, I wouldn't be here. He told me about the we're going to a few. Shout out, Process. Second birthday, it's an honor to be up here tonight, for real. First time. I heard a rumor, you guys gotta let me know, but I heard you guys like new stuff. Yes! I'm gonna do this one. This is, it's an adaptation. I'm writing, for my dissertation at uni, I'm in my third year, I'm writing a novel, or like part of a novel. And in that novel, a friend writes kind of a series of letters to another friend. They're both from Slough, but he writes them to his friend who's moved on, found a better life for himself in America. And he kind of hears nothing back, and as such, he kind of grows in desperation. And this is a poem, or like more of a spoken word piece that kind of encapsulates all of them. So it's very much in the works, it's very rough, but we're gonna see, It's worth saying actually, this does have some references to like gang violence and drug dealing, just to say. It's called It's Derek. Yes bro, it's Derek. How you been? Not sure you'll remember me now that you're all big time and that. Nah, that's crazy. I know you remember us chilling at lunch, pissing off the teachers, checking out all the girls. How could you forget? My life's probably mad boring compared to yours now, but I wanted to let you know I'm getting away from the streets. I've never really been about it, just been trying to eat. And I know the world owes me nothing, but I need someone to take a chance on me. You see, nowhere really wants a kid with 3 GCSEs who couldn't hold his last job at KFC. I've been trying to keep my head up, but I feel like I'm drowning. Dad kicked me out. Mum just stood there frowning, not saying shit. After paying rent at the end of the month, I'm gonna be down to my last 100. Feels like all my sins are closing in and I can't find my way up out of it. That's life, innit? And since you never hit me back, I'm just gonna say it here. I know these brothers are about the wrong stuff, but they showed me loyalty. More loyalty than my parents, and you ain't ever gonna read this, so fuck it, more than you, too. You promised me we'd stay in touch, but now it's like you're out of touch. Looking at you now, I can't believe you came from the same place as me. I used to feel like a failure compared to you, feel like it was my fault, like I fucked everything up for myself while you put the work in. And shit, to an extent, that's true. But we got dealt the hands we were dealt, and you got the lucky fucking hand. I know I sound sour, but I am. The world doesn't owe you shit. You don't bleed different. You're gonna make all the money, have the opportunity to build whatever life it is you want for yourself, but shit, at least I can say I haven't lost touch with who I am. And I know the blueprint. These guys I call my brothers. Any day they could turn on me. One day they will. But I found peace with that. When God decides it's my time, it's my time. At least I'll die real. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Take the short side. Raheem, was that the first time you've ever performed poetry ever?
Second.
Oh, I thought it was the first. I'm really excited, but not
Still good, still good,
no, that's
still valid.
First time here? Yes. Yay! I'm so sorry. We experimented with only hat tonight, and this is right. Let's. Sorry and thank you to Charlie. But yes, applause please. Chessie. Hannah. Zeph. TJ. Toby. Demi. Fuck me. Megan. Mieli. Sumner Brooke. And Tig. I'm so sorry we didn't get you on today, but please come back. And we'll try all different ways of doing this and figure out something that... Look, we're never going to be able to get everyone on, and I'm really, really sorry about that. We have to get till midnight.
It is the best problem to have in that so many people want to be on the stage. We love that, and I guess it means we're going to have to keep doing more months of this, and... Well, we are!
What, next month?
Yes, we've
and then
got...
all the months after that.
Yeah, we are at the very least doing all of 2024, so there'll be process for all of 2024.
What happens after that?
I mean, I need to message to them.
Oh, right, no, okay. They'll have us back.
This should all be good, but yes. Speaking of next month, we'll be here on the 28th of March, and our features will be in the form of Red Fredericks and Henry Mass.
I wanted to say a name. They're great though. They're honestly only the best for you, Hans.
Both really incredible. Yes. So yeah, do all the things on social. Follow all the poets. Follow us. There'll be more news coming out about when Process is going out. Assume that tickets will be on sale at some point next week. It's when I get my shit together, basically. But yes, tickets out soon. Follow Process for all the things doing. Follow all the poets for all the incredible stuff they're doing. Follow us for all the incredible things we're doing.
Oh yeah, I've got a show on in April. I'm directing a play at Soho Theatre. This play's been on so many times, I'll be directing it until I die. It's called Pickle. Yeah, it's coming back to Soho Theatre in April. Have you not seen this?
I don't have social media.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, Pickle's coming back to Soho Theatre in April. It's been nominated for 3 awards. It didn't win them, but it's been nominated for 3 awards, and it's been on so many times, and it sells out every time. Yeah, it's really good. It's really funny. Anyway, thank you to all the open micers. Thank you to Will Zero and Della on the bar. Thanks, buddy. I love you.
Thank you, Kayla, and thanks to Kayla for doing all the things that Kayla does.
Thanks to Tyrone for all the things you guys. Anything else? Did we miss anything?
If you're free on the 6th of March, Kayla's going to be sexy on stage. No more context. No more context.
We have to give them some, otherwise we'll just set a date and then I'll be sexy on a stage. People have seen the Instagram vids. You know Tyrone took that photo? He also took one of me, there will be more as well. There's one of me eating a Five Guys burger with my tits out. Unfortunately, Instagram won't allow actual tits. We have to put tiny stickers over my nipples.
On the 6th of March, Kayla is featuring at Shits and Scribbles doing their Straps and Paddles night. If you like to think sexy, go to that. It's going to be a very sexy night. Support all the poets. Look at all the poetry nights, both in London and out of London. All the stuff. There'll be stuff on socials about all the video stuff, etc. Pictures soon. All of that. I'm rambling now, so I think that's kind of it. So to end this all in our traditional way, I love you all. Now fuck off.
That's the first time you haven't credited Joel Wilson for that. Anyway, bye.